What is going on, everyone? My name is No Pun Intended, and welcome to coverage of my Week 8 battle for the PCL. If you guys enjoy my Draft League content, then please leave a like or a comment on the video, because either of them would be nice, and I would appreciate it. Now, for our Week 8 battle, we're taking on Sawk, coach of the Minnesota Twineedles. His channel link, along with the channel links of the other coaches in this league, will be in the description. Sawk, from my limited interactions with him, seems like a very cool guy. I know he gets a lot of flack from some people in the community, but I guess I'm just a bit too naive to understand it. His team is pretty cool. He's got a lot of very fun mons to use. I really wanted Genesect on my team, but he took it before I had the chance to. Craw is very hard-hitting. Blacephalon can be very dangerous. You're able to get a beast boost. Rabombi was in tier 5 for some reason. I don't get that. And two of the mons that he didn't end up bringing to this game were his Garchomp and his Mega Diancie, who I'm a bit surprised honestly didn't come, but I guess that's cool. Anyway, let's get into the team that I chose to bring for my Week 8 battle. I'm sorry this probably isn't going to be that detailed, but doing two upload leagues at the same time gets a bit draining, so have to deal with it. Now, Sawk and I are probably the two most aggressive coaches in the PCL, so we do very much tend to make some very hard reads and epic predictions. I'm not really sure how to describe them necessarily, but I feel as though offense best complements that kind of playstyle for me, so I'm going to be going with a team that's built around power and extreme bulk and just a lot of base stats. So we'll start things off with my Mega Medicham, who has one of the highest attack sets in the game, so it does fit that methodology. I'm going with a very standard sort of set: Dual Stab with Drain Punches and Headbutt, Ice Punches to hit the Garchomp, and then Bullet Punch can pick off both Mega Diancie and Rabombi. That's why it's there. The 4 attack set seemed very obvious for this kind of game just because the coverage hits his team pretty well all around. We also have Choice Scarf Ditto. Sawk has a ton of setup on his team, and Ditto basically holds that in check, making sure that he has to at least think before he clicks something like Dragon Dance or Swords Dance or Quiver Dance on something. A lot of dances. Running Choice Scarf ensures that I outspeed the mon that Ditto switches into, and I can force him to make a switch, or if he's holding a Choice Scarf, it forces a speed tie, and then the world breaks apart, and we all cry. I also have Hidden Power Fire IVs on my Ditto. I imagine that he's going to bring quite a few mons that have Hidden Power, because I have a ton of 4x weaknesses on my team, and running HP Fire allows me to hit Genesect a bit with that attack. I don't know how useful it will be, because it is locked into a Choice Scarf, but it can't hurt. One of my mons that can't really be hurt is my Aegislash. It's defensive with leftovers again. This is just a set that I'm incredibly comfortable with, and it's very likely not going to change a lot for the rest of the season. The moveset is pretty standard. Flash Cannon hits his fairies. Sacred Sword is primarily for the Crawdon, because none of my other moves really hit that hard, and Shadow Sneak picks off any frail mon that he has on his side of the field. We have physically defensive Seismitoad, who switches in pretty well to a couple of his physical attackers, like his Garchomp. If his Genesect gets a download boost in attack, which he most likely will, because a lot of my mons only have 4 Spidef investment and have even base defense and special defense stats, then Seismitoad can at least resist Iron Head, and U-turn, well, while U-turn is technically stab, it is only 70 base power, so hopefully Toad will be able to stand up to that. Grass Knot is primarily for his Gastrodon, Hidden Power Ice for the Garchomp. Scarfed Infernape is here to outspeed a Scarfed Blacephalon. That's all I gotta say. You don't need to know anything else. And finally, we have Assault Vested Landorus Therian. Sawk has a few special attackers that I think Lando can switch on quite easily, such as his Rabombi, his Roserade, and his Blacephalon, among others. And if Lando is holding the Assault Vest, he can even tank Hidden Power Ices from those mons, so it really isn't too big of a problem. I'm running Rock Tomb so I can potentially slow down Rabombi in itself, and Rock coverage is generally very good because he has a lot of Bug and Flying types on his team. U-turn is for pivoting potential, then Hidden Power Ice hits Garchomp, and in case it's a very physically tanky set. Because of that, I am running Brave Nature rather than a Nature that would lower special attack, just so I can get the 2-hit KO on a bulky Garchomp. Of course, that won't be necessary, because, as I revealed earlier on in the video, Sawk did not bring his Garchomp or his Mega Diancie, which I don't understand because they're actually really good mons in this matchup. Holy crap, I have entered the Twilight Zone. But I guess that's okay. It helps me out. I'd much rather see Beware than I would Garchomp or Mega Diancie, because I do have Infernape and Mega Medicham to check the Beware, and Aegislash resists both of its dual stabs. So the set that he brings is going to have to be very specific to do work against my team. So, getting into my lead matchup, I'm going to start off with my Infernape, because Infernape is just a very solid lead all around. It's fast, it's strong, and I can pick whatever move I want with it on the first turn. And I actually get really fortunate, because Sawk is going to lead off with his Genesect on turn 1. And I'm like, well, he's bringing out the big guns immediately. But the thing is, I'd really rather not deal with this Genesect. So I'm gonna make a bold move and lock myself into Flare Blitz. But there's no way Genesect can stay in here, right? Right? Oh, it does. And it dies in one hit. Cool. Now, if I were playing a coach other than Sawk, I don't know whether I would have been so aggressive on the first turn of the game, but knowing Sawk and knowing that he tends to make a lot of aggressive reads, it just made Flare Blitz a lot more attractive in my eyes. Because if I get rid of Genesect, then that's a lot of pressure off the rest of my team. And that's really, really good. This Blacephalon, however, is not very good for me. I didn't bring any Ghost Resist on my team this week, because my only two are Greninja and Licky Licky. So what I'm actually going to do is pull a hard switch out into my Side Switch, anticipating him to go for the Shadow Ball, but Sawk, once again, is a very aggressive player. He's going to read that and go straight for the HP Grass, knocking out my Toad in one hit. If I had Window Berry on the Toad, it wouldn't have mattered just because Blacephalon outspeeds. And yeah, let those two turns illustrate what kind of players Sawk and I are. Both of us let one of our mons get Oko to a 4-time super effective attack. Go figure. I will, however, be able to send my Infernape back in, and I'm just going to lock myself into Earthquake because that's my best move to hit the Blacephalon, but I think he figured that I was Scarfed, considering that I stayed in on his Genesect. So what he's actually going to do is pivot out into the Rabombi, and this is why I kind of regret not putting Stone Edge on Infernape rather than Earthquake, because if I had Stone Edge as Rabombi, well, it either would have died or it would have gone down to the Focus Sash, which I don't know what item it was, so I'm guessing it was Sash. But either way, this Earthquake really doesn't do a ton of damage to Rabombi, and because I'm locked into a ground move, I have to switch out. I go into my Assault Vest of Landorus, because I know that Rabombi doesn't have the greatest special attack stat naturally, and unless it sets up a Quiver Dance or two, it's not going to be dealing a ton of damage to it. However, it can be very annoying to my team, because first, he sets up the Sticky Webs. Fine. That's going to slow down quite a few of my mons, nullify Infernape's Choice Scarf, etc. That's pretty bad. He also Stun Spores my Landorus, which is a little bit better because my Lando is actually a minus speed nature since it's running HP Ice for the Garchomp. However, I do get paralyzed on this turn. This actually might have helped me out in this game because I clicked U-turn here, anticipating that Rabombi was going to switch out and I would be able to pivot into something, but because I get stuck in with my Landorus, I instead only have to take a Hidden Power Ice, which doesn't even do half because of my Assault Vest, and then I can just go for the Rock Tomb. I do connect on it. Rabombi has pretty bad physical defense, so it's going to go down. But it certainly left a lasting impact on this battle because the Sticky Webs are really going to hurt my two fighting types, and the Stun Spore on Landorus may prevent it from getting off an attack when I wanted to. That's ultimately why I decided that Lando really wasn't worth it in the long run, especially when he goes out into this Bewear here. I don't know what this thing wants to do. I know it gets Sword Stance, I'd rather it not go up to +2 attack and then just throw off returns, since my only resist to Bewear is my Aegislash, and I'd rather it not get chipped down by an Earthquake if he potentially has it. And because of that, I do elect to keep it in on the Ice Punch, and in essence, sack it. I don't want to risk Lando getting fully paralyzed later on in the game and letting up a sweep, and because of that, I figure it's the mon that I am most willing to get rid of. Because what happens after this Bewear kills the Landorus is that I get to go into my Mega Medicham. Now, I know that Sawk's been trying to get Bewear into the kill leaders for most of the season, so I'm not entirely sure what kind of set this is. I didn't want to risk the SP though, so getting a safe switch into Medicham is very important for me, considering that Medicham is usually quite frail, especially against a mon with 120 base attack. But I will be able to get the Zen Headbutt off on this Bewear. I know it's pretty physically bulky because of its fluffy ability, but the damage is still quite worth it since it doesn't have very reliable recovery. And I actually get very lucky here. I snag a critical hit and a flinch. I felt kind of bad for Sawk in the moment because I knew we wanted this Bewear to do a bit more. So what I am going to elect to do is go for my suboptimal play, just click the Bullet Punch so that the Bewear can at least get off one attack and I could see what it was trying to do. He actually goes for Pain Split here. It appears that he brought the Bewear as more of an answer to my Landorus so that I would pop the Z move against it and then he would just recover all the HP back, but if he had Return, he would have been able to deal a ton of damage to my Mega Medicham as a result, and so that's unfortunate. Instead, what I'm going to do is just click Drain Punch and get all the health that I lost back, so Bewear really didn't do much against the Medicham. But it did kill Landorus, and it will always have that to remember. Mega Medicham's also going to have a lot to remember, though, since Blacephalon Shadow Ball will send it into another dimension. Get it? Another dimension? Because Blacephalon's an Ultra Beast? Sometimes I even impress myself with my humor, but I also impress myself with my foresight. I'm going to have Medicham Bullet Punch the Blacephalon on its way down, and this little bit of damage is crucial for my chances of winning. The key factor here is that at full health, Blaze survives a Shadow Sneak from my Aegislash, but can't if I damage it like this beforehand. This Bullet Punch damage is crucial, because now Sawk has to switch his Blacephalon and go into Roserade, who can stomach a Shadow Sneak and go for an attack of its own. Now it is fair to assume that Aegislash walls any possible Roserade set, and thus I have no reason not to keep it in here. But wanting to preserve Aegislash's health for his Crawdaunt, I am going to swap into my Infernape, expecting Sawk to go for something like Shadow Ball, which I can easily tank myself. As for presumably Technician boosted hidden power ground, well, that's gonna sting a bit more. But Infernape does live at 13 HP, and this activates its Blaze ability, so I just go straight for the Flare Blitz. I know I'm stacking up my Infernape by doing this, but it's not like it can really do all that much against the rest of Sawk's team, while it's locked into a single move thanks to the Choice Scarf. So I am satisfied with letting it faint, while also KOing a defensive-ish Mon at almost full health in one hit. Now both of us only have 2 Mons remaining. I have my Aegislash and Ditto, while Sawk can bring in either his Crawdaunt or Bucephalon. Now, I've been in this 2-on-2 scenario multiple times in my Draft League career, though it's been a while since I have. From my experience, what I usually do when I'm faced with this situation is I map out every single combination of Mons that my opponent and I can possibly bring out, determine what the worst case scenario is for me, and act opposite of that potential worst case scenario. In this case, that was if I brought in Aegislash and Sawk on his Crawdaunt, because if he's Bandit or Life Orb Dawn, he can kill my AG in one hit with a knockoff. To counteract this, my play is to go into Ditto. If he brought in the Bucephalon and it was Scarfed, as I hypothesized, the game probably would have come down to a speed tie, followed by a series of 50-50s centered around Aegislash's King Shield, which is always fun. But because he chooses to send out the Crawdaunt before the Bucephalon, we're not going to have to worry about that this turn. Now, I don't want to lock myself into knockoff here because there's a pretty good chance his Crawdaunt is actually running a Z move, and knockoff definitely won't 2-hit KO him if he's holding a Z Crystal. So I go for Crab Hammer instead, and I pray it doesn't miss. The first time it doesn't, and Ditto is able to knock the Crawdaunt below half. See, that's some good damage output right there, considering, you know, you're fighting yourself. But then Sawk's Crawdaunt knocks off my Choice Scarf, which is going to force a speed tie anyway. Based on the damage this Crawdaunt did to my Crawdaunt, I can tell he doesn't have an obvious boosting item, which means he probably has that Z Crystal, and if he does, there's a 100% chance he uses it on this turn to kill my Ditto. So it all comes down to this: Crawdaunt, or Ditto, versus Crawdaunt. The fate of this game is going to come down to one final speed tie, and my Ditto's going to win it. It does move before Sawk's Crawdaunt, hits it with the Crab Hammer, and now all Sawk has left on his team is his Bucephalon. And because he knocked off my Choice Scarf one turn earlier, I'm going to be able to switch up my move to Aqua Jet and KO Bucephalon without having to worry about taking a hit. Now, I don't know if you guys can believe it or not, but Ditto finally did something. Through like 5 or so games on my channel, this is the first time it's gotten a kill. Oh my gosh. And Ditto polishes off a 2-0 victory for the Philadelphia Aegislash over the Minnesota Twineedles. And I really do mean it when I say it this time, but good game to Sawk. This match was really fun, quick, and exciting, and it came right down to the wire. Now, talking about that speed tie between the two Crawdaunts, I still think that if I had lost the speed tie, I would have won the game, because what would have happened is that he would have had to burn his Z move to kill off my Ditto. Then I would have gone into my Aegislash, because he's not holding a boosting item. Crawdaunt's knockoff does at max 98% to my Aegislash spread, and at that point what I can do is go for the Sacred Sword, kill it off in one hit, and then Shadow Sneak the Bucephalon to clinch the win. So I don't think the speed tie really mattered in terms of the result. It only cost him a point of differential, but if that's the worst thing that happens, then it's whatever, really, to me. I do wish him luck for the rest of the season. I think he falls to 3-5, but considering that 8 teams make playoffs out of 12, he still has a pretty good shot anyway. But with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to leave a like or a comment on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel for future Draft League content. Check out the channel links to Sawk and all the other PCL coaches in the description. And until I see you next time, take care.